This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so it's good to be back in person and online, and we are adjusting and adjusting. So Parsha Korach is page 820 in our Stone Chumashim, chapter 6, Perek Tet Zayin, Pasuk Aleph. And just to get our bearings over here, right? Korach is about to start a very, very bitter rebellion. But we will be able to understand a little bit where he is coming from. Because there is going to be, well, we'll hear some of the words that they're going to say, and there is a tremendous degree of frustration that everyone is feeling at this point when it comes to Moshe. We keep reading all these psukim from the viewpoint of God and the viewpoint of Moshe, and when will they stop complaining, and when will, and don't they get it already, right? But from their point of view, this is a very difficult, depressing time for Klal Yisrael, for the children of Israel, and this is a time where frustration, anger, envy will often erupt. So let us begin. Boker Tov Leah, Perek Tet Zayin, Pasuk Aleph, page 820, Parshat Korach. The Parsha begins, Vayikach Korach ben Yitzhar ben Kahat ben Levi. Good morning, Jenny. Vayikach Korach ben Yitzhar ben Kahat ben Levi Vidatan va'aviram b'nei Eliav va'on ben Pelet b'nei Reuven. Vayikach Korach means Korach took. Korach, page 820, the son of Yitzhar, the son of Kahat, the son of Levi, and Datan and Aviram, the sons of Eliav, and On, the son of Pelet, who were the sons of Reuven. Next pasuk, Vayakumu, and they arose lifnei Moshe va'anashim. Mivnei Yisrael, they rose before Moshe, and Anashim, Mivnei Yisrael, and another 250 men from Bnei Yisrael, Nisiei Eidah, leaders of the congregation, Kri'ei Moed, those who were called for meetings, Anshe Shem, men of renown. So what is very strange about this? Gabriella, I know that you're not in school anymore now, you're not in the classroom, but were a student to submit this sentence to you, and Korach, the son of Yitzhar, the son of Kahat, the son of Levi, took, and Datan and Aviram, the sons of Eliav, and On ben Pelet, the son of Reuven. End of sentence. So what is glaring over here?
If it's just any student, it's whatever, but if it's my best student, with lineage and, all of that.
Okay. So one question can be about the lineage, but I'm talking about the sentence structure. Korach took. Korach, the son of so, and Datan and Aviram took. End of sentence. Right? There's no subject here. What did they take? Vayikach Korach, and Korach, the son of Yitzhar. So the lineage is important, right? We're going all the way up the line of the lineage over here. Korach, the son of Yitzhar, the son of Kahat, the son of Levi. Who was Levi the son of? Levi is one of the sons, one of the tribes, one of the sons of Jacob, of Yaakov, right? He is left out over here. He's not mentioned. And actually, when Yaakov said, right, don't mention me. Just 1 second, let me find that pasuk. Yaakov, find that pasuk. Okay, good. Look at page 276 for a moment. Keep the place over here and go to page 276. That's Bereshit, Perek Mem Tet, 49, Pasuk Vav, Hey and Vav. This is Yaakov on his deathbed in Egypt, speaking to all of his sons. Shimon v'Levi Achim, he says, Shimon and Levi, 276, verse 5 and 6. Shimon and Levi are brothers, comrades. We'll come to that word comrade in a little bit. Klei Hamas Mechei Rotehem. Oh, their weaponry is a stolen craft. Here we go. B'sodam al tavo nafshi. Into their conspiracy, let them not include me. Bikahalam, in their kahal, in the kahal that will be gathered together, in the congregating that will be congregated together. Al techad kavodi, do not bring down my honor. What is the kahal? The kahal is this kahal of Korach. And Yaakov said, right, Pasuk Gimel, Vayikahalu al Moshe. They became a kahal. They gathered, they congregated against Moshe and Aaron. Boker Tov, Ora. So they're referred to as a kahal, as this congregation. Yaakov said, don't include my name in their kahal. And therefore, in fact, Korach, the lineage is given the son of Yitzhar, the son of Kahat, the son of Levi, but we stop short of Yaakov, of Jacob. But what does all that mean? Yes, Gabriela.
I hope this isn't too relevant. Is there a connection between the word cabal and cabal?
Of what?
Cabal and cabal? Like in English, criminal cabal.
Like a CABAL? I don't think so. I don't think so. Yeah. Okay. So what is the idea, my friends, here of mentioning all this lineage? What does it mean? If I'm mentioning Yitzhar, Kahat, Levi, if I'm mentioning all of this, there must be some message here. Either that they were somewhat involved, somewhat complicit in what happened, or their names are explaining to me why it happened. So this is an uprising that they're saying, Korach is saying, why are you taking all of this for yourself? I should be, or we, excuse me, that was the comrade, that's the communist. We should be, right? Because what does he say? Pasuk Gimel, they gathered against Moshe and Aaron, and they said, Rav lachem, you've taken too much for yourselves. Ki kol ha'ida, kulam kedoshim. The whole congregation, everyone is holy. Uvetocham Hashem, and God is in their midst. Madua titnasu al kahal Hashem. Why have you risen yourself up, appointed yourselves as all the leaders, all the high positions over kahal Hashem? We're all equal. We're all holy. Comrades, right? This is communism. Israel during the We're all equal. I remember when I was living in Italy, time that the whole was collapsing, and it was so fascinating listening to the evening news every night. Listen to Voice of America, and it was fascinating just hearing just the whole world was shifting so much, and there had been an interview with Ceausescu, who was the leader of Romania, right? And this is before his fall. And they said to him in the interview, right, are you grooming your son to take over after you? And his response was, my son is a comrade like any other comrade here in our wonderful country. And any one of the comrades might be able to step up. And, it was such baloney. And then when he was deposed, they found that he and his family of comrades somehow had golden plumbing fixtures, where most of the other comrades in Romania did not seem to have literally golden plumbing fixtures that they would flush their toilet through after. So that was Korach over here, right? We're all holy, right? George Orwell, and right? Yeah. All the animals are equal, but the pigs are a little bit more equal than all the other ones, right? But all are equal. All animals are equal. Why are you lifting yourselves up? How could this have been traced to Yaakov? Yaakov did not want to be involved over here. Leave my name out of it. How could this have been even attributed to Yaakov? If his name was here, how could we have said, as the expression goes, chip off the old block? Korach got it from Yaakov. Why? Why would we have said that?
Because Jacob was a usurper.
Jacob was a usurper. Jacob was the younger brother. Who should have been the Bechor? Esav. The older should have been the Bechor. Who did Yitzchak at least initially want to give the bracha to? He wanted to give it to Esav. And there, what happened? Yaakov snuck his way in over there and usurped. And he took that blessing. And therefore, here's Korach, his great-great-great-grandson. Some things never die. It gets passed down generation to generation. Maybe it's latent for a while, but then it's going to flare up. Yaakov did not want his name to be mentioned, but whether his name is mentioned or not, right, the cat's out of the bag, right? Why does his name being mentioned or not being mentioned, why is that telling? What is that? How does that impact us? So by God leaving out his name, what is God actually testifying? There is no connection. I wouldn't say teshuva. We'll come in a second. There is no connection. Even though superficially it might appear that, Yaakov moved in on Esav, and here's Korach, chip off the old block, trying to move in on Moshe and on Aaron, by the Torah giving all of this lineage, but stopping short of Yaakov. Had it not given much lineage, we would say, it's Yaakov. But here we give all the lineage and we stop right before Yaakov. That's telling me this is not Yaakov-like. This is not what Yaakov was about. Yaakov went for many different. First of all, Yaakov had bought the birthright, and it was his. And Yaakov had the prophecy of his mother telling him that you are meant to go in and get this brachot. and even perhaps even more telling, the Bnei Reuven. Reuven is also involved in this. Why would Reuven, the children of Reuven, why would they be involved in this? He's the firstborn. He's the firstborn. So Korach is able to pull other malcontents and say, look, you guys were also pushed out. Come on, let's reclaim that which is rightfully ours. We were wrongly deposed, we were wrongly marginalized. Come, let's claim that which is truly ours over here. But that's very, very important. Keep this in mind. Reuven was the firstborn. He lost the stature of the firstborn. Royalty went to Yehuda, to Judah. The spiritual leadership went to Levi. Did Reuven sell his birthright? We never find Reuven selling his birthright. Reuven was not worthy of the birthright, and therefore he didn't have it. Yishmael and Yitzchak, interesting. Did Yishmael sell anything to Yitzchak? No. So Yishmael didn't sell anything to Yitzchak, but Yitzchak rose to the top. And and actually it was Yehuda, it was Yosef, it was Levi who took all these positions. Reuven never sold anything. So therefore, when we analyze it in such a way, we realize there are those that explain that Yaakov buying the birthright from Esav was a way for Esav to save face. Esav is not going to get it no matter what. He's not deserving of it. He won't get it. But like this was a face-saving measure, right? Oh, it wasn't taken from me. I gave it up. I decided to sell it. So by the pasuk going up level, and stopping by Yaakov, it's letting us know this is not Yaakov at all. Yaakov was the rightful owner. Yaakov had the prophecy that his mother's prophecy, and Yaakov had saved Esav the humiliation of having it taken away from him.
I just have a question about being taken away from him, because Reuben actually did something with Simeon that caused, didn't they kill the people of Shechem?
That was
Simeon and Levi.
And Levi, yeah. Reuven, what Reuven had done was Reuven had, had moved the mattress. The pasuk says that he slept, but actually, the sages claim that he moved the mattress of his father. He got involved in an area where children should not be involved in the parents' intimate dealings. Yeah. Okay. So this is our first hybrid over here, right? So if a question is asked, right, feel free to talk. Hi, Rose. Feel free to speak up online, right? And I will try to repeat anything that's said from the masses, the thousands who were assembled here this morning, right? So then I will share that over here. Yes, Gabriela.
Okay, so you asked us a question. I'm not sure if you answered it. You said Vayikach Korach.
Correct. Good.
So you're going to answer that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so Gabriela mentioned to me that I got sidetracked, and the very first question that we have on this first pasuk is Vayikach Korach, and Korach took, but it doesn't say what he took, right? But we got a little bit of background at this point in what's going on in all the names over here, and why they are in a state, why they are in this malcontent state. Vayikach Korach. So Rashi says that's what he took. Vayikach Korach. And he took Korach. What does it mean that he took himself? Rashi says, Lakach et atzmo litzad echad liot nechalak mitoch ha'edah. He separated himself from the community, from the congregation, that he is now going to start l'orer ala kuhuna. He's going to dispute. So the very, very first, the fundamental problem that we have over here is he pulls himself out from the kahal. He took himself out from the group. We have our strength when we are part of the kahal. Once we go at it alone, I just mentioned in another class this morning, the Gemara class, it came up, the idea that when a person is davening with a tzibor, with a group, so then you are collectively viewed as part of that group. When one davens by oneself, we should, if we're davening, we should have by ourselves, but it's there, the focus is on me. And that's a little bit more frightening. We want to be part of the group. I shared the story that when the only yeshiva to escape in its entirety from war-ravaged World War II Europe was the Mir Yeshiva. And they managed to escape to Shanghai in China. And they set up shop there in Shanghai. And incredibly, when they went into this large shul that had been built by a Sephardic family years before, was basically in disuse, they went there, they sat down. The exact number of chairs in that shul were the amount of students and staff and rabbis who had managed to escape to there. And at a certain point, though, there were some boys who were learning in the Ezrat Nashim, in the women's section, in a balcony area. And the Rosh Yeshiva went to them and said, we are living through the most trying of times, and our existence is miraculous. You don't want to separate yourself from the group. It's only when we're all together that each individual has this gift of survival, this miracle of surviving through this. And therefore, it's with strength in numbers is a term that's often used, and that's very, very much the case over here. Vayikach Korach, he took himself aside. Now, another aspect in the names that are mentioned here is that helps to explain why he took himself aside. Vayikach Korach ben Yitzhar ben Kahat ben Levi. We have the tribe of Levi. Levi had 3 sons, Gershon, Kahat, and Merari. He was from Kahat. Kahat, thank you very much. Now, he was from Kahat. What was the job of Levi when it came to the Mishkan, to the tabernacle? What were the jobs of the sons of Levi? Transport. Transport was the job. Some of them were carrying the beams, the real hardware. Some of them were carrying the curtains. And Kahat was carrying the vessels themselves. So Kahat, he was from the group that had this very, very lofty position amongst Levi. They were the upper echelon of Levi itself. But it's very, very interesting. Take a look on page 744 in Bamidbar, Perek Dalit. Sorry about that. Let's change the timing again. The psukim are very interesting. Let's go on page 744, 745, Perek Dalet. Hashem spoke to Moshe and Aaron saying, Nasod Rosh B'nai Kahat. Take a census, literally lift up the heads of B'nai Kahat, the sons of Kahat, mitoch B'nai Levi, from amongst the sons of Levi. L'mishbechotam, l'veit avotam, right, we take the count. Pasuk Dalet, verse 4, Zot avodat B'nai Kahat o Moed. This is the work of the sons of Kahat in Ol Moed, Kodesh HaKadashim, the Holy of Holy. The Holy of Holy, meaning, what's going to happen? Uba Aaron uvanav. Aaron and his sons will come. Bin soa machaneh, when we're about to journey. V'horidu, they'll take down the parochet hamasach. They'll take down that curtain that's separated between the holy and the holy holies, Kodesh Kodesh Kodeshim. And that curtain will wrap, v'chisuba, they'll wrap with that the Aron HaEdut. They will wrap the ark with that. And then v'natnu alav kisui or tachash. They'll put onto that a leather covering, ubeged kalil techelet, and a blue and techelet. Is that turquoise wool colored over it. The samu badav, and then they will play or adjust the poles. Val shulchan apanim, and onto the table, they're going to put again a beged techelet, a turquoise blue beged, right, and put onto it all of the different vessels of that shulchan, and then they'll put on another beged on top of that, and then pasuk 9, they're going. Who's doing all this? Who's doing all this? The Kohanim, right? Verse 5, Aaron and his sons will come and do all this. And then verse 9, they'll take a cloth of turquoise wool and cover the menorah with its lamps and tongs and spoons and vessels and all the oil. And then once again, and then verse 11, page 747, on the gold altar, they'll put this turquoise wool and cover it and take the utensils and all that and all that and all that. Verse 15, Aaron and his son shall finish covering the holy and all the holy utensils when they camp journeys. And then the sons of Kahat shall come to carry. They should not touch the Kodesh. They should not touch these things, lest they will die. These are the burden of the sons of Kahat in the tent of meeting. Interesting, huh? So we start off with, this is what Kahat's going to do, Holy of Holies. Yet who does all of the work? I'm sorry, who deals with the Holy of Holies? Only the Kohanim do, right? Lest a Levi will touch it, lest a Levi will see it. So we could see a little bit of this sense that he's from the sons of Kahat, but he's feeling marginalized. We introduced over here, this is what Kahat will do, that we spend all the time talking about what the Kohanim will do to make sure that the people of Kahat, that the Kahatians shouldn't see any of the vessels, shouldn't touch any of the vessels. But what will they do? They'll schlep it. Granted, this was the most honor. They carried it b'katef. And we say that Korach was the one who actually carried the Aron. He had the greatest honor of carrying the Aron. But as we often discuss, it all depends how we look at something. Right? We had last week's Parsha, we had the Meraglim, the spies, and there wasn't so much a sin of what they said, it's their perception, it's how we view things. And that's what leads to my feelings of anger, angst, that envy, that's what leads me to speak. The Lashon Hara is the end product of the way that I perceive something. And here we have Korach. He could look at it to say, I am from the tribe of Levi. Wow. And of the sons of Levi, I'm not schlepping the beams. I'm not schlepping the curtains. We are carrying the vessels. And of all the vessels, I, Korach, I am carrying the ark. The ark that has the tablets that Moshe brought down from Har Sinai, both the broken tablets and the second tablets that are intact. I'm the one who's carrying that. Incredible. Out of the whole nation, Moshe brought down these tablets from Mount Sinai, and I'm the one who's carrying the ark. That's one way of looking at it. Another way of looking at it is, what am I? I'm the schlepper. I can't touch it. I can't see it. The Kohanim, they're the ones who deal with it, and I just get to carry it. There's a beautiful teaching that when a person is praying, is davening, we say your eyes should be down and your heart should be up. Your eyes should be pointing down, your heart should be pointing up. So the simple meaning is your eyes should be down, either looking into a siddur, not looking around, not getting distracted, not wondering who just walked in, right? But your eyes should be down, focused, but your heart should be up there in the heavens. That's one level of understanding that. Another level is the eyes perceive the physical, the material. The heart senses and feels the spiritual. When it comes to the spiritual, we should be looking up. See who seems to be doing more than me, who's on a higher level than I. Why can't I also be like that? Our eyes should be looking down, looking at those who have less than us and saying, thank you, God. What a gift. What a gift. You're so good to me. You've given me so much. Spiritually, we look at those who have more and say, I also want to get there. Materially, physically, we look at those who have less and say, God, you have been so, so good to me. We can always be looking at what I don't have or what I have been blessed with. Korach was Ben Kahat. He was the lofty Ben Levi, the son of Levi, the tribe that was lifted up as the spiritual leaders. Ben Kahat, of Levi's three sons, the one that was in the most elevated position, and he had the highest position amongst Bnei Kahat, but it wasn't enough. And it's fascinating. The sages say that one of the things that he did to offset Moshe, he came in wearing a beged, a garment that was kulo techelet. We just finished off shlach with a tzitzit, right? So he had a garment that was all turquoise blue, and said, "Does this need tzitzit?" And Moshe said, "Four-corner garment, it needs tzitzit." So he said, "If you've got one blue strand that helps for any garment." If you've got a garment that's all blue, why should it need tzitzit? So on one level, what's he saying? On one level, he's saying the same idea. We're all holy. Kulam kedoshim. We are all holy. Why are you lifting yourself up over the rest of the nation? We're all holy. We are like a garment that's all daylight. Ruthie, sorry, I think you need to we're getting some bounce back from you, Ruthie. I'm just going to mute you. I apologize. So, on one hand, this garment that's all techelet is this idea we're all holy. We don't need these leaders. However, if he is from Kahat as he is, what do we keep hearing back before over there by the vessels? What do we keep covering the vessels with? A garment that was kulo techelet. That was all techelet. So that might have been right, kind of like stuck in his throat, this kulo techelet, right? That is something that was causing him this ire, this angst, this fact that he, what am I, the schlepper over here? I can't even see it. All I see are all these blue. Everything's already covered with blue before the Levi, can even enter, right? So he was seeing blue, but he was seeing red, right? That seeing blue, that was stuck in his core, and the kulo tchelet was driving him mad. Ben Yitzhar. There's another aspect over here. He was the son of Yitzhar. Now, Kahat had 4 sons. The oldest son of Kahat was Amram. And Moshe and Aaron are the sons of Amram. So I understand that you guys got a certain high positions. But the leader of the tribe of Levi ended up being not from Yitzhar, the second to oldest son of Kahat, but from the younger one, the youngest son. And therefore, he was also upset. Why was he given this nisiut? Why was he given this Elitzaphan ben Uziel? He was the nasi of Bnei Kahat. He was the leader of Bnei Kahat. Why did you choose this younger brother's son? I am the son of the second to oldest brother. So all these names are also giving us a clear inkling of what was spurring him on. They gather against Moshe and they say, why are you? We're all holy. We're all comrades. We're all holy. We're a holy nation. God is in the midst of us. Yeah. What does Moshe say to them? Let's turn to 822, Pasuk Chet. Vayomer Moshe el Korach. Moshe said to Korach, Shimuna b'nei Levi. Listen up, sons of Levi. Hama'at miken ki yivdil elokesh otchem me'adat Yisrael. Is it insignificant? Is it little? Is it unimportant that God, the God of Israel, separated you from the entire congregation of Israel? Lakriv etchem elav. God has brought you close to him. You, Levi, you are the spiritual leaders. La'avod et avodat mishkan. You help in the service of the Mishkan, Mishkan Hashem. V'la'amod lifnei ha'edah lishartam. And you stand in front of the Edah to serve them. Vayakrev otcha. And then he pulled you and achecha b'nei Levi and your brothers itach ubigashtem gam kahuna. You also want kahuna? What should Korach have answered? This isn't what Korach had stated. Korach said, no, we're all holy. We're all comrades. But as Gabriel, as you said, Moshe cut to the chase. Moshe saw right through that. And when he said that to them, they didn't say, no, you got us wrong. We don't want kahuna. We want everything. Their whole pretense fell to the side. Moshe cut to the chase. And that was actually the case over there. Yes, right? We want kahuna. Take a look on Pasuk Yud Bet. And this will also give us a bit of an understanding in where they are coming. Vayishlach Moshe. Moshe sent to call Datan and Aviram b'nei Eliav, Vayomru, and they said, Lo na'aleh. We will not go up. Okay? And we learn from here that when one is involved in a machloket, in a dispute, that one should try to make peace. Right? You be the one to extend that olive branch. Don't stand on ceremony. You try. And he said, and he reached out to them. They said, Lo na'aleh. We will not come up. Strange word, right? Lo na'aleh. We will not go up. Hama'at. Right? Moshe said to them, Hama'at, verse 9, is it not enough? Is it insignificant? They said back to him, they threw it back in his face. Hama'at, is it not enough? Ki ha'alitanu, that you brought us up, me'eretz zavat chalav udvash, from the land flowing with milk and honey, namely Egypt. Lahamitenu bamidbar, to have us die here in the midbar. Ki tistarer aleinu gam istarer. You also want to be a sar. You want to rule over us. You want to dominate us. Af lo el eretz v'chalash v'heviatanu. Right? You're not bringing us to the land flowing with milk and honey. Batitan lanu nachal esadav v'karen. You're not giving us our portion of fields and vineyards. Lo na'aleh. Even if you're going to gouge out our eyes, right? Meaning what? You think we're blind? You think we don't realize what's happening over here? Lo na'aleh. We are not going up. Now, at first, this is crazy. This is, right? This is, this is so vile on their part. But let's understand that. Moshe took them out of Egypt in order to do what? To bring them to the land of Israel. And that was the promise. That's where we're heading. And then in last week's Parsha, we had the spies and the slanderous report. And everyone started crying, right? We're not going to go. We're going to get slaughtered. And Hashem said, you're not going to go. You're not going to go. Your children will go. You're not going to go. Right? There are stages of grief that are stages of going, that we go through different stages when we're dealing with loss. The first stage is often denial. That's the first stage. The first stage is denial. Right? And what happened right afterwards over there? Oh, we'll go, we'll go, we'll go. And Moshe said, it's too late. God is not with you. No, we're going to go, we're going to go, we're going to go. And many of them went and they were killed. That's the first stage. The next stage is anger. Anger. And they were understandably angry. You kept telling us you're bringing us up out of the land of Egypt to go to the land of Israel. And now you're telling us every last one of us is going to die here in the Midbar. So they were angry. But what point are they missing?
They had some responsibility in
Their responsibility. Right? When we talk about loss and the stages, there a person didn't have responsibility for. So a person goes through denial, anger, grief, and then to a certain degree of acceptance and keep on living. But over here, they are denying their responsibility, the role that they played in it. And this is something that we deal with often. I had a situation that someone was very upset with me about something. And until I was able to get the person to say, I said, look, I could have done better. And I will resolve to do better in the future. But do you recognize that there's a certain role that you played in this also? And that wasn't so easily agreed to, even though anyone who was outside looking in say, that was theirs. That was theirs. And they didn't. And now they're upset with, but these stories of the Torah are timeless. And even though it seems to be very, very extreme, but there's so much of us in each of these stories. There's so much of looking at what I don't have as opposed to focusing and having this profound appreciation for what I do have. And there's so much of looking around. The story I love to tell, one of my sons, who's a little boy, he was spinning around, getting himself dizzy, having a great time. And he got so dizzy, he fell, right? And then as he's lying there, and the whole room spinning around, he looks at everyone else and says, you did this to me. Actually, you did this to yourself, right? But it's so easy. It's so easy to say you did this to me, and not be able to walk it back. Not be able to walk it back. Right? And we just look back at verse 11 for a moment. Lachein ata Aaron mahu kitalinu alav. Right? Aaron, what is he? Right? Aaron is the most humble. Aaron is not looking. Any of the appointments that I made were divinely guided. And once again, Pasuk Chaf, verse 20, Hashem said to Moshe and Aaron, separate yourselves from this congregation. I will destroy them. And Moshe and Aaron, and this is incredible, as they are being lambasted, as they are being accused of usurping and not caring about everyone else, what are they doing? They're doing everything they can to protect them. Right? One person is sinning, and you're going to be angered against the entire congregation. And we know what happens over here, right? It was an extraordinary event. Pasuk Lamed Aleph 31, page 826. When he finished speaking all these things, the earth literally opened up beneath them. It opened up its mouth. And it swallowed them, and their houses. That kol adam, asher leKorach, that kol haruchush, all that which belonged to Korach, went down into the ground. Vayerdu heim v'chol asher lehem chayim sha'ola, and they went down alive into the grave. V'techas aleim haaretz, and the land covered them over. Vayovdu mitoch hakahal, and they were lost. Right? Nothing left of them. The Chol Yisroel, everyone else runs away, right? But then again, Pasuk Vav 8:28. Vayilonu kol adav bnei Yisrael mimachar da Moshe. They complained to Moshe and Aaron. Atem hamitem et am Hashem. Right? You killed the nation of God. Right? They're still upset. Right? You're the ones who told them to do the whole, we didn't go through it, the whole fire pan issue. And from here we go on to all of, right, we had the whole thing with the mater, which I think we've done in past years, the staff, to show that Aaron was the one who was meant to do it. Go to now page 830, Pasuk Chav Zayin 27, right? Kulanu avadnu, right? We're all going to die, right? This is just too holy over here. We can't call it Charev Hakar Mishkan Yamut, right? Whoever draws close to the Mishkan of God is going to die. And then we have all the laws of the Kohanim and the Leviim needing to make this mishmeret, this guarding around the temple, around the Mishkan, around the tabernacle, to make sure that Azar, those who are not supposed to draw close, that they do not draw close. Korach is quite a story of this thirst, this hunger for more and more and more and more, and never feeling that one has enough. No, the morning blessing we make is She'asa li kol tzarki, that God has, well, the way it's normally translated, God has provided for me all of my needs. And we say the word li, for me. And that's the emphasis. When it comes to someone else, how can I help you? 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 How can I help someone else? When it comes to myself, we're supposed to be looking, like I said before, looking down and seeing, wow, look how much I have. Look how much I've been blessed with. And this whole Korach is really a continuation of the Meraglim, right? By the Meraglim, the question is asked, 40 years, right? It was a year for every day that they traveled, but they only spoke Lashon Hara for one day, right? But it's not a sin of the mouth. It's the sin of the eye. And that's what misled the Meraglim. They saw it in a negative way. That's what misled Korach, that he's looking at those who have more than him instead of looking at those who have less than him, and appreciating his exalted position. And that really, I would say, is probably the key to happiness in life. Esahu Ashir, a wealthy person, is not one who is satisfied with his life. It doesn't say satisfied, it says sameach b'chelko. Someone who is truly happy. And you can have two people living identical lives. One person feels they're living in hell, the other person feels they're living in heaven. This one's looking at what he doesn't have. This one's looking at what he or she does have. And as we make our way through our midbar of life, our wilderness, our desert of life, we can learn a lot from the travels and the travails over here of those who are making their way through the midbar, and the focus that we need to have as we go on through. Okay, I'll let everybody join one another over here, those who are here in person, those who are here online, and those who can make it, please do try to make it in person, those who can, and those who can't, I will continue to stream. But it's great having people here. Thursday is going to be lunch and learn. Finally, we brought back the lunch to the lunch and learn. That's 12:30. We're also going to stream again for those who can't be here, but I can't put a sandwich through the computer. So know that from the get-go. Okay, everybody.
Thank you very
A good day, everybody. Shavua Tov.
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're very welcome. Shavua Tov, Shavua Tov.
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're very welcome.